Yo, what up? What up? What up? What up? It's your boy Bowie here. And I want to hit y'all with part 2 of the meta of Mortal Kombat 1. This is after the patch. So, in case you were unaware, on October 23rd, 2023, NetherRealm released a patch addressing Mortal Kombat 1. It's the first patch, and as of this particular moment, there's still no patch notes out for this patch, which is very interesting in and of itself. But you know, in that patch, several things occurred, and one of those things that occurred was something that I deeply warned, or tried to, make it be known that NRS should absolutely not do. And that is, characters were gutted. A character specifically was gutted. And that is the Cyrax cameo. If I'm not mistaken, I believe my exact words were, NRS needs to be surgical about these balance changes. Whenever a patch does come, they need to be surgical with the kinds of modifications that they make. They don't need to normalize or nerf, they need to do tweaks. And NRS both heeded and ignored that warning at the same time. And it is very perplexing and annoying, even though the vast majority of my characters were unaffected. You see who I'm using. I'm playing Katana. And I'll be playing other characters without the use of Cyrax cameo. And that's because I don't use Cyrax as a cameo. Never did. But I fought against Cyrax. And I definitely watched ECT. And I saw how every damn match was utilizing the Cyrax or the Kung Lao cameo. And I had said that, hey, this needs to be adjusted. They need to do something. But I cautioned against NRS gutting these characters. And now they've gutted Cyrax. So, just in case you don't know, Cyrax's helicopter move, his horizontal helicopter move, it now requires the entire bar of cameo. In addition to that, the move, it has slow regen time. Like, it's delayed. It takes an awful long time to come back. On top of that, they made adjustments to the damage scaling of the move. So now it doesn't, neither one of his helicopters does as much damage in combos. On top of that, they instituted a change that should have always been in the game, which is when you flawless block a move, not only do you negate chip damage for yourself, but you completely stop meter build for the opponent. The opponent was still building meter, even though you had flawless blocked their attacks. But finally they instituted, wow. Sub's ice ball needs to be buffed. What the fuck? Anyway. So when you flawless block a move, the opponent still built meter up until now. When you put all of those changes together, they have the effect of really neutering Cyrax. And when I say neuter, that doesn't mean that now he's the worst cameo in the game now, though it may turn out that he's close to it. We don't really know at this point. But what it does mean is the character went from being the very best cameo to being like, at the very least, middle of the road, if not possibly one of the worst. And those kinds of drastic hatchet job changes are exactly the wrong way to nerf characters in this game. Especially this game. See, this is an assist fighter. Assist fighters are not known for having fair, balanced, and clean mechanics and abilities. You know what I'm saying? And as far as assist fighters go, this one's probably the tamest one of them all because it is very neutral based. It is very footsie based anyway. But in the words of, 16-bit Stephanie Brownback, she said, the cameos allow you to break the rules of the game. That's what she said in one of the Kombat casts. And that's what Cyrax was doing. Cyrax was allowing people to make their unsafe moves safe. Cyrax was allowing people to get combos where they normally wouldn't get combos at. Cyrax was allowing rules to be broken. That's what y'all said. And as a matter of fact, that's the nature of this particular game. Break rules. Defy conventions. We have a new timeline. We have a new era. Things that have been established for the longest time are now upended. Because we're in a new era, it's a new day. You know what I'm saying? That's been the trend of this game. And so, given the fact that you have these characters and these cameos breaking all kinds of rules, it only seems fair to allow Cyrax the ability to break rules if all the other cameos are allowed to. But moreover, some of us have been playing this cameo, well, some of us have been playing this game since what, the 12th of September? I believe it was the 12th, something like that. Or was it the 14th? Maybe it was the 14th. Can't remember. Point is, it was mid-September. People been using that cameo since mid-September. Now it's late March. Or late March, Jesus Christ. Now it's late October. And so people have been allowed an entire month and a half to develop a meta around Cyrax and Kung Lao. They've put a lot of work in the lab. They've grinded a bunch of matches. Many people, like the ones that we saw at ECT, they fought hundreds of matches against dozens of opponents with Cyrax, and much of it was being recorded on stream. There are thousands of matches with Cyrax as the cameo, and that was all before ECT. And though I understand the logic of waiting until after a major tournament to drop a major balance patch, honestly, if NRS was going to sit there and gut Cyrax anyway, what they should have done was not even let him rock for this long. It shouldn't have been no month. We shouldn't have even gotten out of the month of September with the Cyrax cameo being able to do all of those things if they were going to gut him anyway. You see what I'm saying? Because this reminds me very much of, you know, the nerf that NRS made to the Arctic Trap for Sub-Zero. We played with that move for weeks, months even, before that first patch where we finally got 3 variations. So we were allowed to run with this and develop entire strategies around it, come up with setups and all this, put in work and effort for a game surrounding this move, right? Doing what we were supposed to do, playing the game and optimizing our gameplay, right? So we were allowed to sit here and do all of this for weeks and weeks, only for all of that to just be taken away, only for the proverbial rug to be pulled out from under our feet and no pillows to cushion it. That is the wrong approach. And the reason why I'm passionate about this is not even because I wanted to try Cyrax or because I was going to use Cyrax or because I used Cyrax, because I didn't and I wasn't. But I realize a very simple truth. If Cyrax can be gutted, anyone can be gutted. Just like Sub-Zero was gutted. Now I'm doing pretty well with Sub-Zero right now because that's my main. That's been my boy all the way back from the 90s. I know that character. And he's very familiar to what I've known from Sub-Zero. So of course I can make him work. But if I started trying to play Kombat League with him against really strong characters, I'm pretty sure I would begin to struggle, right? But I would have rather struggled at least having all my tools intact, knowing that I have a powerful character that I have the means of discovering my own solutions with, than to struggle because I know my character was gimped and I didn't have a chance at a fair fight from the get-go because my character, you know, has to ice skate uphill and the other one is not. You know what I'm saying? So the point of what I'm getting at is what happens to Sub-Zero, it very well could happen to anybody. And so if NRS could decide to gut Cyrax the way that they did, they can gut anyone. And the scary truth is they likely will gut somebody else. Because now that people are running from Cyrax to the next cameo that's strong, people are gonna make more discoveries. People are gonna discover, oh, actually, Striker's really messed up, or oh, actually, Sonya's really messed up, or actually, Kano or Serena, or, you know, insert whatever cameo you want, right? They're gonna find the next cameo that allows them to do the busted stuff that Cyrax was previously allowing them to do. And once they do this, what's gonna happen? That new cameo or those new cameos are going to be just as popular and degenerate as Cyrax was. Is NRS going to gut those characters too? When does it stop? Do you see what I'm saying? We just have an everlasting perpetual loop of gutting the strongest characters and moves. And now cameos with no end in sight. That's not the way forward. Now, as I acknowledged in the previous video, Cyrax absolutely needed to be adjusted, for sure. But the only thing they should have done was what they did with Kung Lao. See, I said earlier that NRS both did a hatchet job and then they didn't do a hatchet job. See, they nerfed 2 cameos. They nerfed Cyrax, but they also nerfed Kung Lao as well. But you know what they did with Kung Lao? Exactly what I hoped that they would do. They increased the cooldown slightly. They gave a slight delay before Kung Lao can recharge his low hat again. The low hat still recharges quick, but it's not as quick. So it's not something that you can just mindlessly spam over and over and over again in rapid succession. The succession's not as rapid. You can still use it repeatedly. It's still good. It still retains all of its functionality. It's just not as abusable anymore. That's what they needed to do with Cyrax. And the way to go about doing that was to increase the cooldown only. They didn't need to make that cameo worth the whole bar. Because now you've turned Cyrax into Motaro. I was very excited about the prospect of using Motaro and his triple tail until I found out that that triple tail uses the entire cameo bar. Once I found that out, I said, so I'm going to be able to use this once and then not be able to use it again for 20 seconds? And it doesn't combo. It's just something I throw out there and hope and pray that it connects. And if it does connect, hope that I can get the conversion from it? No. No. That move is very expensive for something that's not guaranteed. It's the same thing with Sector's EX missile. The one where it tracks. I mean, it's good that he has that move in the game, but I can't believe he got hit with 4 of those. But that move's too expensive for what all it does. I mean, yes, it's powerful. It's a tracking mid projectile that's probably plus on block. So yes, it's strong, but is it so strong that it really needs to be an entire bar? No. Hell no. Absolutely not. And even for all the strengths that the move had, is Cyrax's horizontal helicopter so strong that it needs to require your entire cameo bar? No. It's not. It's not. They punish people for being good with it. They punish the character for being too prevalent. Round 1, fight. It just feels like that, you know, NRS punishes the characters or the players of a particular character for making their game look bad by nerfing said character into the ground. And that's not the correct way to balance. Because, you know, while the Cyrax cameo did a lot for every character, the way to address that cameo was to either address the effectiveness of that cameo, you know, through its individual facets, or to reduce how frequent the cameo came out. They decided to do a little bit of both. And so now this character is a shell of what they once were. In a game where characters like Li Mei are still able to kill you with, 45% damage combos off of one bar. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Here's another character that I think got disproportionately nerfed. Baraka. Now, him and Raiden already got damage scaling added onto them, which we all saw that coming a mile away. And they did need some tweaks to their damage scaling, yes. But now they lost like 10% of their maximum combo damage. Like, they can't even do 50% damage combos anymore, it seems. Even if they spend multiple bars to do it. Again, why would NRS allow this to rock for weeks and weeks and weeks on end, and then suddenly come out and say, you know what, we don't want you to do this anymore. You can't have this toy. That toy of half-life damage, nah, you can't have that no more. Why would you let the kid play with the toy for weeks and then turn around and say, nah, you can't have this? And then turn around and not even give the kid a replacement. So Baraka had already gotten damage scaling. But then on top of that, apparently he has bigger gaps in some of his strings. His walk speed is slower, which, frankly, the walk speed change barely means anything because he still walks really, really quickly, thankfully. But we have to understand, the only reason why Baraka was even worth a damn was because of how powerful Cyrax was. It was his synergy with Cyrax that made him competitively viable or a top tier level character. But in addressing Cyrax, you directly address characters like Baraka as well. So Baraka getting nerfed, or Cyrax getting a nerf, was already enough for Baraka. Why did you have to turn around and then hurt Baraka too? You know what I'm saying? I can understand getting some damage scaling, but 5% would have been perfectly fine. Why 10? Especially after weeks and weeks and weeks of allowing people to get these half-life combos. That's the part for me, And again, I don't use Baraka. I do not play Baraka as of right now. I may use him later, but I'm kind of afraid to, because it's like, with NRS out here gutting characters like this, I'm kind of hesitant to even show this video here, because I'm out here making Sub-Zero look like he might be worth a damn. And if people see Sub-Zero being too good, they might get the idea that he might deserve more nerfs. They might get the idea that his, plethora of problems aren't actually problematic when they are. The character gets low damage compared to the rest of the cast. unless he uses Serena, in which now his damage is mediocre. You know what I'm saying? The character has a slow mid that doesn't have the range that justifies its slow speed. The character is mixing off of unsafe overheads and lows that don't combo unless you just throw it out there and cancel into a special. The character's Ice Ball, which is his most iconic move, is a shell of what it was. It's extremely slow, almost 40 frames in startup. The travel speed is slow, so even if you throw it out, you manage to get it out in neutral. The likelihood that it actually reaches the opponent on time to connect is slim to nil. Then on top of that, if you do freeze an opponent, especially from far away, you don't have enough time to go all the way across the screen and hit a full combo because they'll defrost before then. And then even if you do hit the character for a combo, the Ice Ball scales damage. So now you're not going to even get the full damage you would have gotten. And this is true whether the Ice Ball is regular or enhanced. The enhanced Ice Ball is no faster. It literally simply exists to be a mid that eats other projectiles. So Sub-Zero's got problems. Not to mention his Ice Clone is gimped as hell. And he has gaps in all his major strings. So Sub-Zero has been gutted from his beta incarnation. And I want it to be very clear that this is not the proper way to balance characters. You don't sit there and let people have tools for extended periods of time. Let them get good with those tools. Let them develop them and cultivate them and stuff like that. And then suddenly yank the tools away from them without giving them replacement tools or extra layers. See, if they had given Cyrax the nerfs that I was talking about, but then also buffed his net and buffed his bombs to be useful, now we can still use Cyrax, just use him differently. They didn't do that. They kept all his problems the same. They took away what made him very good, kept all his problems the same, and didn't address them. Same thing with Sub-Zero. We don't even know what issue Sub-Zero had. We didn't even get a chance to figure out what Sub-Zero was not all that viable against, because before he could be tested in the field against the best and the brightest in the game, like pre-patch Baraka Cyrax or Natara or Ashra or anyone like that, he was just nerfed into oblivion. So if he would have struggled against those characters in some form or fashion in his beta state, we would never know. Now, probably the most unfortunate thing about all of this is now I feel like I'm in the company of people who actually don't like the game, because there are hordes of YouTube content creators and Redditors and all other manner of social mediaites that are talking about Mortal Kombat 1. And the vast majority of them, you know, though many people have many positive things to say about this game, there's a bunch of folks that are just making cringy, bad content about a game that they're not very good at. And instead of admitting that they're not very good at it and don't understand fighting games, they would rather sit there and catastrophize and blame the game for all their, you know, for all their inadequacies, and therefore blame NRS. And so now, because I have legitimate criticisms based on their balancing philosophy, based on NRS's balancing philosophy, now I'm grouped in with them fools. Now I sound like somebody that doesn't like the game when I really, really do. I love this damn game. I think about it all the time. I even dream about it, which is crazy to think about. You know what I'm saying? But now I'm looped in with people that don't even like the game. And I don't rock with that. I don't even want to share oxygen with them fools because they're not trying to, they don't want the game to be good. They don't even like the game. They're not criticizing the game because they like it and want it to be better. They're criticizing the game for likes, views, and clicks and all that bullshit. No, I want this game to be the bomb. I want this game to be better than MK9 because I feel like it can be. The game is fun as hell. It has all the elements that I enjoy from MK9, MKX, and MK11 all rolled up into one. And so I enjoy this game so much. That's why I criticize it. I criticize it because I want it to be better. But to be mixed up with people that don't give a fuck, that bothers me. You know what I'm saying? I don't like that. I do not want to be considered an ideological bedfellow with people that can't even be bothered to lab the goddamn game. People that still are angry that we even have a cameo system to begin with. Like, bro, get over it. Cameos are here. They're probably going to stay. We're probably going to get them in the next game. You got people still pissed off about that. Like, bro, cameos are the bomb. I love them. They're great. I hope that they appear in damn near every other Mortal Kombat after this. So I hate that I even have to be possibly mixed in with the mother fools, you know what I'm saying? So that's the other thing that I find unfortunate. But all in all, did the balance patch address some things that needed to be addressed? Yes. Did it do everything wrong? Of course not. It did Kung Lao justice, I think. Kung Lao is still strong. His functionality is still there. But, you know, now he's just not as silly. And that's the way I wish that NRS would have handled Cyrax. It's the way I wish that they would have handled Sub-Zero. And here's the thing. It ain't too late, NRS. If you're out here listening to me, watching, you can fix. You still have time to go back and fix these characters. You still have plenty of time to go back and revert changes or add new layers to characters, do things that will, you know, put some of that rug back underneath our feet that was yanked up. You know what I'm saying? It ain't too late. You can still give Sub-Zero his damage scaling back. You can still give him his damage back, period. You can still fix his ice ball. You can still fix Cyrax in the ways that he needed to be fixed because his net is still mediocre and his bomb moves are still like useless. You still have time to adjust all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? You still have time to buff all these other cameos that people were not using because they have issues. You still have time to do all those things. So this is not a doom and gloom situation. This is not a, oh my God, it's too late. Oh my God, they ruined the game and it's ruined beyond, you know, reconciliation. No. They got plenty of time. It's still very early in the game's life. We don't even have online practice mode yet. We got mad time for NRX to fix things. Shit like that need to be fixed too. I'm running that back because that was bullshit. So look, I'm about to throw out this EX Ice Ball because I knew he was going. See, there's time to fix stuff like that. Let me see. I just want to see it again because this is crazy. Like, NRS, y'all got to fix that, man. I knew my boy was going to throw this move. I knew he was going to throw a projectile. What happened? Did I go too far? I must have went too far. I don't know. But yeah, like I knew my boy was going to throw this projectile. And I still didn't have time to do something about it. Oh, here I go. I think. Oh, no, never mind. Yeah, but the point is, there's still time to fix these things, NRS. Y'all fix the player one advantage. Y'all fix so many other things. You have time to change the way you balance your characters. You know, stop taking characters that are strong and punishing them for being strong. If characters are strong and they're oppressive, fix the oppressive part. Fix the frequency of how strong they are, but don't turn around and make them weak. You see what I'm saying? And the other characters that are weak or are relatively not strong, strengthen them. That way, instead of us choosing between Cyrax and Lao, now we get to choose between Cyrax, Lao, Sub, Scorpion, Serena, Motaro, Kano, Sonya. Bring everyone else up to their level so that there actually is choice. You see what I'm saying? That's the move that would guarantee fun for everybody. But once again, those are my thoughts, my unsolicited thoughts about the meta of MK1. I hope you all enjoyed. I'll catch y'all later, hopefully with some good news this time. Peace.